Hi, welcome to Connecting the Dots, the podcast where we share our stories from the battlefield of consulting. I'm your host, Johnny Hill.
Hi, I'm Ivan Trujillo.
Hi, I'm Nicolás Cabrera.
Hi, I'm Daniel Garcia.
Hello, I'm Marta Gonzalez.
Hey, I'm Karim Jamal.
So today we're celebrating several former interns who are now full-time Experonauts, and we're talking with them about their internship experience and how Expero as a whole approaches the topic of internship. So, let's get started. So just to start off, let's talk about how does Expero approach internship just as a whole from a very high level? What is that like for those who have kind of facilitated internships, but also for those who have gone through internships themselves?
So what we do in Tenerife is attend to the different events we have in the university in order to know the students and also to explain them how is the company, the projects we have, and also about our culture. We also organize some contests. So what we usually do is invite to the office the top 3 or top 4 of students that did the contest and got the higher score. Then in the office, what we usually do also is a lunch or some food and drinks. And there we can know indeed more those students in order to see if they are interested in the company and also to explain them more about the company and they can just see how we work in our daily basis and so on.
Also, to add to that, in my case, I started as an intern because of the university program Expero has. I knew Expero from, as Ivan mentioned, from other events they attended, and they always had the best stand and they were always so fun. And it was great because the people who we were talking to, other developers, like they were just telling us their experience. So it felt really close and really natural, and other companies or whatever was there usually were people from marketing. So, and it felt scripted for them. Like they did not do it wrong. It's just, it didn't feel as natural as talking to someone from your same field. So that really felt close and fun and real, at least from my point of view, when I decided to choose Expero as an option for my internship.
For a lot of it, we rely on word of mouth, right? So we like to attract talented individuals that have that passion to learn and do, right? You don't need to be the best and top of your class. It's really that desire to learn and to quickly grow are the qualities we're looking for. And after that, really the strategy is to deliver a great internship, right? A great experience begets more people that want to come here next year, right? For a lot of it, we've had interns in the past that have then completed their internship and they have shared the amount of stuff they learned and the fun they had while they were here. And then, next career fair, we had one of the biggest lines at the career fair. In fact, the last in-person one we went to, it was so long that there were 4 of us there. We were talking continuously, didn't have time for lunch. Yeah, me not getting food. Think about that, right? So yeah, it was rough. But continuously talking to the point where they were picking up tables and we still had people there wanting to talk to us. Like career fair was over and we still had a line. And so that's really part of our strategy. It's do great and have great experiences to where then the interns go and share it and more people want to come work here.
I think it's fair to say that approach, like a highly relational, highly interactive approach to internship, isn't just in the recruiting phase. That's throughout the entire process, right? Like it's not just like, oh, well, yeah, we'll send skilled developers to the career fair so we can try to grab some people, but then they'll never talk to the interns again. No, it's like you're actually on real projects and you're working with people. You're not just, running and grabbing coffee or whatever it is, that kind of a thing. So yeah, that very relational, hands-on approach, I think, extends from the very beginning when we're kind of screening people for internships all the way through the whole process. So I'm curious, like, For those here who are on the call who, were interns in the past, just what that experience was like once you did start as an intern, once you did get assigned to a project and got to work side by side with other full-time people. What was that like?
It felt really organic, in my opinion. And I've been thinking about it. And I think a huge component of it is the existing guidee system Expero has. So whenever I came in, I compare myself to other peers that have done internships elsewhere. And I could really rely on my guide to guide me through stuff. And one thing I also liked a lot was how horizontal Expero is. So one of the first things they told me was, if you wanted, you could just shoot a DM to Sebastian and ask him some stuff. And that was really mind-blowing for me at the beginning.
Totally agree. Also, in my experience, the company really supportive environment. We all the interns are encouraged to learn, to do new things, and from the day one, we're not just giving coffee or making copies. We have some real work, and we can contribute to real projects. Also, we were not alone in that. They provide mentorship and guidance in every step of the way. And so we have all the resources that we need to develop.
Yeah, that's really important. And one thing I noticed when I got in was, I guess it's because of the experience our guides have. But I remember, Ivan, you were in my first project, and I remember you being so quick to pick up my strengths and being able to build a standard to hold me against. And I really felt successful from the first 2 weeks, maybe, I got in the project, and I really, really valued that.
Yeah, something related to that. In my case, I didn't know the technologies that are used nowadays. Like back at uni, we do learn how tech works and everything more in deep, but the tools they use are a bit outdated. So I remember my first day when my guy was doing the onboarding of the project, he was like, "Do you know this? Do you know that?" And I was like, "Oh, not really." But I never felt that I couldn't do things because we just we set like a tiny 2-week program so that I could learn the technologies, and it was always very guided, and my mentor was always there to help me out with the things that I didn't understand. And slowly we were building my career during the internship so that I could learn and adapt to the real work that we were doing. So that's also great. Even though you didn't know what was going on or the tools, as what Karim said earlier, if you have will to learn, then you can learn.
Yeah, and that's a mindset change I went through when I started here, facing problems that are new to you. And it turned from being scary to being an opportunity to learn and to get better. And that kind of change took a while, but once I did it, I just ask questions continuously, and it's been really fun. Yeah.
I think one of the keys is that there is no competition between us. I mean, when new employees or new interns came to Expero, we try to help them to grow, because for us are just another teammate that could help us in the future or now to finish or to complete the projects we are working on. So I think that is important, because in the university you are always competing with your teammates in order to get the best grades. So I think that is one thing that we try to change when they start the internship.
For those who started as an intern and then came on full time, what was that transition like? Was it kind of like just a continuation of what you were already doing, or did it feel like there was a dramatic shift between intern work and full-time work? What was that like for y'all?
For me, I was working during my internship 6 hours a day. And after my internship ended, I started working just part-time for a month since I had to finish my thesis. So once I finished my thesis, I started working full-time. And for me, at least, I didn't notice a change. As we mentioned before, we were slowly getting to know everything we needed. We were learning how to use the tools inside a real project. So after 3 months, you already knew how to get around, and you actually were doing real tasks. So Actually, I finished my internship a Friday and I continued a Monday. And the only thing that changed was the amount of hours I was working. But for the rest of my process, it was the same. So that's great. That's how you can really tell that the internship is actually worth it and you're actually working, not just doing the nasty stuff.
Yeah, I got the same feeling when I ended. I actually remember I was kind of sad because I was doing 6 hours a day and I got to 4 hours a day. And I remember being sad for losing those 2 hours because I was just really into my project and I was handling a big part of our process. And there was some stuff that only I understood in that process. And I just wanted to be available and be, I don't know, be working on that because I really enjoyed also the back and forth of the presenting PRs and stuff and getting some feedback. And it was really just, I really like that flow, that going back and forth with my seniors or people that understand more. I just really loved learning and I wanted more.
I remember that you were on my project. I was sad too when you had to go down to 4 hours.
Yeah.
But then I was happy when your schedule allowed for going to full time. So that was great.
I think it was like a continuation. The amount of work or the difficultness of the work that I had on the task was like progressively more complex as I developed as a developer. So yeah, I think it was great.
So what was it about your internship experience that made you want to continue into full-time work? Because I know sometimes, you'll just do the internship and then take a step back and then do something else, or, go back to school or look for other jobs. Like, was there a specific thing about the internship at Expero that made you interested in continuing?
Well, the internship experience itself, like the level of responsibility and trust that they placed me during my internship period, like made me feel valued and motivated, and make me know that I can do like real work in the company. And also the positive work culture and the camaraderie in Expero made me want to keep there working.
Yeah. For me, I just felt like in 4 months, I had learned much more than I had in 5 years at university. And I wouldn't let that go for anything in the world. And also, really, here at Expero, I feel like it's always about the people. I remember, because of the time difference, our daily meetings for the project were at the end of my day. And I was just working through the day happy because I would get to listen to the Karim joke of the day. And well, I felt at home since minute one.
From my experience, when I started my internship, I already knew I wanted to stay in Expero. Like, my internship would have had to go really bad in order for me not want to stay, because of the feedback I had heard from the company before, and also knowing them from other events in the past, like for 2 years at least. So I really wanted to do my internship here. And yeah, then when I started my internship and saw that it was real what they were saying in the events and students affairs, I was like, I want to stay here. I hope it turns out well and I can stay, because now that I go to those events and to try to recruit other future interns, and we tell our experience and stuff, some people ask us like, but is this real? Like, where's the bad stuff? Something bad needs to be there. And I was like, I'm still waiting for it to happen. Like, nothing wrong has happened yet.
It depends on your taste for puns, your tolerance for Kareem's bad jokes. That might be a negative for some people.
That's a perk. I don't know what you're talking about.
For me, it's a perk, but if that's the worst thing in a company, that's like good enough for me. So
Yeah. I remember my parents were super skeptical and looking for the catch when I told them I was coming in to work with you guys. They were just like reading the contract through and through, and there must be a catch. And I just went, no, I guess I got lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember that when the interns came to Expero, they can enjoy at least one mini summit or summit. And there we have a lot of activities that we do and meetings and so on, so they can feel the culture also with other teammates that are in the US that are not working in the same project. So what do you think about that?
I finished my internship over a year ago, so I don't exactly remember which activities I did during my internship. But I remember like going out and eat a lot, and also food is always present in case it wasn't clear by now. But we did not just do like meetings with the whole company. For example, every 2 Fridays when we do all hands or the mini summits, but also in the office, we always try to do some activities together. So you could feel how fun it was to like get to know everyone, and you can always sense how, I don't know, everyone's just nice. They just want people to be successful and to have fun and do good things. And I don't know, that was great, at least from my point of view.
Well, I think that one of the best activities was a walk we did to the Puerto de la Cruz coast city in Tenerife. It was a really beautiful experience. Like we headed down to a beach with a waterfall, and at the end of the walk, we had a lunch in the city in Puerto de la Cruz. We shared stories, and I think that it is really good to have a company that values not only the professional growth, but also the happiness of the employees.
Yeah, for me, I I distinctly remember an Expero Tech Night, and I just spent like 2 hours of my morning carrying chairs from point A to
Yeah.
point B and setting up a TV and doing that stuff. But I remember it like a wholesome experience. I was actually having fun carrying 30 chairs from one point to another because of the joking around and the atmosphere, and I just really valued that. I felt like part of a team besides of the work we do here, just outside of it.
And why do we do these activities, right? It's really to celebrate our most valuable asset, which are the people. From day one, we want to immerse them in our people culture. And what's nice about it is from the get-go, they get to see how smart yet nice and humble the people are that you get to work with, right? They value your opinions, even though you're an intern, right? It's not, no one's looking down on you for not having the experience. In fact, you might have new ideas we haven't thought of, right? And so everyone's opinions are valued equally. And so I think that's one of the things that really stands out. Once you come close to the end of the internship, it's like, yeah, these people are the type of people that I want to be working with, full time.
Yeah, and I do think it's worth noting, all the, I guess, former interns that we have who are on the call here are based out of our Tenerife office, but the same kind of approach and rationale exists any place where we're recruiting interns, whether that's in the Canary Islands or in Texas or elsewhere. The general approach is one of high levels of like camaraderie and just living life together, getting to know each other. You get assigned to a guide so that you have kind of someone built in to be able to mentor and work with you. But there's also the concept of being assigned to real projects and doing real work, not just like made up stuff that is not representative of the actual work you would be doing, but you're actually like on a real project and contributing real value, and being asked to solve real hard problems. So I'm curious, like, why would Expero take the risk of bringing in people who are young and new and still learning and putting them on real hard projects? Like, is the payoff really worth it? Like, how have you seen the benefits of that approach? Just like what it's like to have people come in and ask them to operate at that high of a level?
Well, I will say that I think new people with fresh ideas push all people to become better. I mean, to improve, to learn new skills, to learn new patterns, new technologies, and so on. Because if not, you can be overtaken. I mean, it is like new students also have new energy for the company. And that is important as well, because we care a lot of people. And having a really good group of people, the company is important. So that is another key, I think. As they came, they get recognized and they start to deliver and create good code. So I think it works totally.
And it works both ways, right? So like someone new that doesn't have much experience starts coming and asking you questions. It really makes you question why you're doing things the way you are, right? Sometimes you need someone coming in and asking why, like my 3-year-old does, right? To no end, until I walk away. But it's sometimes it's like, okay, why am I doing things that way? Maybe there's a better way, right? Let's talk about this. And sometimes it's a learning opportunity for you as well as the intern. And on the flip side, going back to what we said earlier, we do look for those passionate people, right? So when we do find those passionate people and bring them on for the internship, we are not selling them short. If these people are passionate, we shouldn't underestimate them. So we throw everything at them because we know that they'll be able to grasp it and learn and ask questions if they don't know, and learn and get better continuously throughout, which is a great experience and opportunity for them.
Right. And it's not throwing things at them and saying, go figure it out on your own. There's a support system in place from the very beginning where questions are encouraged, and not knowing the answer is okay and that kind of a thing. But it's, you're given real hard problems and a support system alongside those problems and opportunities to figure it out in a very real work environment rather than kind of a simulated work environment. I'm curious for those here, for the former interns, if anyone here had interned anywhere else and what that experience was like compared to your internship at Expero.
I haven't, but just my friends and I just talk about this stuff a lot. And I just had like 5 or 6 different people doing internships elsewhere at the same time. And they were just talking time and time again about how lucky I was that I was given this support system to help me grow from the first moment, because they were just kind of hanging around or making coffee, as you said. Or another one of my friends just got asked to maintain a backend for a full-grown application with no guides whatsoever. And I was just scared for them, but so happy to be here at the same time.
Yeah, this was my first internship as well, but similar to what Nico said. Like everyone from my friend group was like, wow, I wish I could have done my internship there, whatever. And yeah, like even the ones that had good experiences were also saying that my experience was, or looked better at least. Like some of them were just installing Windows on whatever computers on an office, or others would just be doing not even real projects, which doesn't really give you a sense of the real world. So it's great to have opportunities like this to do a real internship and how it should be everywhere else.
I think that's one of the key things we bring is that real work, right? There have been internships I've seen where, hey, it's just going to take forever to onboard you. So here's a fake project you're going to do for 3 months that's going to be thrown away, right? Or you work at such a large behemoth company where it's a massive product, and after the end of your internship, what you say is, hey, go to this menu, open this submenu, now open this submenu, click that, there's a pop-up that comes up. I did that for my internship, right? Which is great, but like we operate differently because we're smaller, right? And so the impact and the work you've done by the end of your internship is massive in context to, right, the product that we're delivering. We work fast and we deliver a lot. And I think that sense of fulfillment at the end of it really, shines above others.
Yeah, and that's what we were mentioning before about throwing real stuff at people. And what I mentioned at the beginning, that I feel like since I came in, we got so on track to find my limit, whatever it was, my team, my guide and I, and just start from that point to learn and to start to deliver real value to our projects. And I just felt like I was growing from the first time. That's really valid for me.
I'm curious, just for all of the interns here on the phone, if there was like one specific example of something that was really meaningful in your internship, whether that was something you got to work on or a conversation you had or something you learned, just something that was meaningful or a memory or an experience you had during your internship.
I can instantly think of something. I don't know if this is a tradition elsewhere, but in Spain, there's a real grown tradition that workers on Christmas, they get to carry home from the company like a food basket with Christmas food and wine and stuff. And I remember at the time I was doing my internship and we were celebrating Christmas and stuff. And Juan ordered some food baskets for everyone. And the day that he gave them out, I didn't even think about it because I was an intern. I was at the door and he said, hey, don't forget your own basket. And I just almost started to cry right there on the door because I hadn't even thought about it. and that feeling valued even as an intern and being valued for my time there just felt really, really warming.
For me, well, it's like kind of two things, but they're related. Almost at the end of my internship, I remember we had a demo with a client, and I remember being asked if I wanted to show what I've done, since I worked on a part that was really visual, and that's what clients like to see, right? So they asked me if I wanted to present it myself, and if not, it was okay that someone else could do it, but I jumped in and I was like, okay, why not? So I demoed it to the client, and after that, I remember some of my teammates DMing me and being like, you did super great, and we're so happy to have you here. We hope you can like stay in Expero after your internship. Similar to what Nico said, it really makes you feel valued. So it's great being surrounded by people who support you.
Well, for me, I think one of the best experiences I had was like that walk to Puerto de la Cruz. I think it was a really good day. I feel like being part of the company, and it was a really good experience. And
If anyone has advice that they would share for people or students who are looking into internships and trying to find a good fit for them, any advice or bits of wisdom from y'all's experience?
I do have a clear advice, and I always say this to people we meet in the events we do at the university, is to get to know the companies, because I feel like most people when they're in uni don't really know the companies that exist or that have internship programs. So they just get whatever, where usually you're just a number. Most of the times there are big companies where you don't really get to do real stuff. So just go to events, get to know the companies, talk to people. So just ask whatever you need to know, because most of the time, like in my case, I applied for Expero because I knew that there was a possibility of me continue working for Expero if I did good and if there was an open position when I finished. So just do your homework and like investigate before opportunities like this.
Yeah, and by getting to know the company, I think you should focus like 100% on the people, because you can look at the portfolio and sure, it looks nice, but everyone is just. I remember when I was choosing where to do my internship, I was between Expero and another company, and I just hit up Marta because I know her from class, and she just sent a 5-minute audio message, and the passion she had just instantly made me decide for Expero, because all she had to tell me was good stuff, and I really valued that.
I'd say come hungry and open-minded, right? So come hungry, not just for the food, but yeah, for the food, but also for the hunger to learn from all these experienced people, right? And keep an open mind, because you might surprisingly like something that you hadn't even thought of or had discounted early on, right? So just keep your mind open, because this is your chance to really learn and get exposed to everything. That's what the meaning of internships are, right? It's a exploration time for you before you sort of, go into what areas you really want to focus on.
I will also say that I would recommend those students to choose a company where they will know you by your name and not by a number. So that is important, because here in Expero, we know who is Marta, who is Nico, who is Daniel. And I think that is important because you are not a number. And at the end, it is a very comfortable environment to work.
Thanks for connecting with us today. If you have a complex software problem that needs solving, thoughts on what we discussed today, or ideas on what topics we should tackle next, feel free to reach out to us at podcast@experoinc.com or on Twitter @ExperoInc. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to connecting with you next time.
And I will make a clarification. I mean, we do not ask you to, go get coffee for people. But for some back-end interns, there is Java involved.
Oh no.
I don't-
Thank you, Kareem.